what if oil paint didn't just change art, but changed how reality itself could be captured? Before Jan van Eyck, painting suggested the world. After him, they revealed it. Every reflection, every fabric fold, every glimmer of light suddenly felt alive. Today, we're counting down the top 10 masterpieces of Jan van Eyck. From lesser-known devotional works to the painting that many historians still call the most influential artwork of the Northern Renaissance. This is not just a list. It's a journey into the moment when art learned how to see. Jan van Eyck was born around 1390 in the region of modern-day Belgium and died in 1441 in Bruges. Working as court painter to Philip the Good, Duke of Burgundy, he refined oil painting to an unprecedented level, achieving realism through layered glazes and masterful control of light. Van Eyck did not invent oil painting, he perfected observation. And with that clarity of vision, he changed how the world would be painted forever. Now, let's begin the countdown. Number 10, the Madonna of Chancellor Rolin. We begin in Paris at the Louvre Museum. This painting depicts Nicholas Rolin, the powerful Chancellor of Burgundy, kneeling before the Virgin Mary and the Christ child. What makes this work remarkable is not just its religious subject, but its architecture of power. Rolin sits in the same space as the Virgin, not beneath her, not far away, beside her. Behind them unfolds an impossibly detailed cityscape stretching into the horizon, symbolizing both earthly authority and divine order. Van Eyck fuses politics, religion, and realism into a single image, quietly asserting that power and piety could share the same frame. Number 9, the Annunciation. Now in Washington, D.C., at the National Gallery of Art. At first glance, this appears to be a traditional Annunciation scene, but look closer, the figures are monumental. The setting is a Gothic church rendered with architectural accuracy. Latin inscriptions float through the air like whispered scripture. Light enters the space not just physically, but symbolically. Van Eyck transforms a biblical moment into an immersive, almost cinematic environment where theology and physics coexist. Number 8, portrait of Cardinal Niccolò Albergati. This intimate portrait is housed in the Kunsthistorisches Museum in Vienna. Unlike idealized medieval portraits, Albergati looks human, thoughtful, aging, present. Every wrinkle, every shadow in his face suggests a man shaped by responsibility and time. Van Eyck's innovation here is psychological realism, the idea that a portrait could reveal a mind, not just a status. Number 7, the Virgin and Child with Canon van der Paele, displayed today in the Groningen Museum in Bruges. This painting feels almost sculptural. The figures are solid, heavy, and physically present. Saints George and Donation stand beside the Virgin, while Canon van der Paele appears not as a heroic donor, but as an aging man with failing health. The reflective surfaces of armor, the embroidered textiles, the subtle imperfections of flesh, all testify to Van Eyck's devotion to truth. Number 6, portrait of a man, now also in the National Gallery in London. This may be Jan van Eyck himself. The red turban, the intense gaze, the inscription that reads, "As I can." It's a declaration of artistic confidence and humility. Van Eyck looks directly at us across 6 centuries, challenging the viewer and perhaps future artists to do better. Number 5, Madonna in the Church, housed in the Gemälde Gallery in Berlin. Mary appears impossibly large within a Gothic cathedral. This is not a mistake. Her scale transforms her into the church itself, a living embodiment of faith. Light filters through stained glass windows with mathematical precision, reminding us that Van Eyck understood architecture as deeply as anatomy. Number 4, St. Francis of Assisi, receiving the Stigmata. Now at number 4, Jan van Eyck brings the miracle into the wilderness. St. Francis of Assisi, receiving the Stigmata, today in the Philadelphia Museum of Art, depicts the moment when divine experience meets the physical world. St. Francis kneels in a rugged landscape, alone and vulnerable. The Stigmata appear not with drama, but with quiet inevitability. The rocks feel sharp. The plants feel alive. The distance stretches naturally into space. Nature does not react to the miracle. It accepts it. Van Eyck's genius lies in this balance. The sacred does not overpower reality. It settles into it. In this small but profound work, faith is not shown as spectacle, but as a deeply personal encounter. Number 3, the Dresden Triptych, currently in the Gemäldegalerie Alte Meister in Dresden. This small altarpiece contains an entire universe. Each panel is dense with symbolism, color, and emotional restraint. Despite its size, it demonstrates Van Eyck's ability to compress theology, humanity, and space into a portable object of devotion. Number 2, Portrait of Giovanni Arnolfini and his wife. Now at number 2, we enter one of the most enigmatic rooms in art history. The Arnolfini portrait, today displayed in the National Gallery in London, appears at first to be a simple domestic scene, a man and a woman standing in a well-appointed interior. But nothing here is simple. Every object speaks, every reflection watches. The convex mirror on the back wall captures not only the couple, but 2 additional figures. One of them possibly Jan van Eyck himself. Above it, the artist's signature reads, "Not painted by, but Jan van Eyck was here." This is not just a portrait. It is a statement of presence. A single candle burns in the chandelier. Shoes are carefully removed. A small dog stands between the couple, a symbol of loyalty, intimacy, or perhaps something more ambiguous. Are we witnessing a marriage? A legal contract? A memorial for a wife who may already be dead? Van Eyck never answers. Instead, he transforms realism into mystery. The textures are astonishing. Fur, wood, metal, glass, all rendered with microscopic precision. But it is the psychological tension that endures. This painting doesn't explain itself, it invites interpretation. And nearly 6 centuries later, it still refuses to settle into certainty. Number 1, the Ghent altarpiece, the Adoration of the Mystic Lamb. And finally, number 1, the moment where Northern Renaissance painting truly begins. The Ghent altarpiece, located in St. Bavo's Cathedral in Ghent, is not just Jan van Eyck's greatest achievement, it is one of the most influential artworks ever created. Completed in 1432 and begun by his brother Hubert van Eyck, this monumental polyptych unfolds like a visual encyclopedia of Christian belief. When opened, it reveals a vast, unified world. At its center stands the mystic lamb, bleeding into a chalice, a symbol of sacrifice and salvation. Around it, prophets, saints, martyrs, and pilgrims converge from every direction, forming a vision of humanity drawn toward redemption. Over 250 figures appear across the panels, each with an individual face, expression, and presence. No 2 are the same. The landscapes stretch endlessly into the distance. Every leaf, jewel, fabric, thread, and reflection is rendered with breathtaking clarity. This is realism pushed to its absolute limit, not to glorify the world, but to sanctify it. What makes the Ghent altarpiece revolutionary is its ambition. It doesn't isolate sacred figures from reality. It absorbs reality into the sacred. Heaven and earth coexist in the same light. Despite centuries of thefts, restorations, wars, and controversy, the Ghent altarpiece endures not as a relic of the past, but as a living foundation of Western art. This is where seeing changed forever. This is Jan van Eyck's ultimate legacy. Jan van Eyck didn't merely paint the world, he clarified it. He taught artists to observe patiently, to respect detail, to trust light. Without Van Eyck, there is no Flemish realism, no Renaissance portraiture as we know it, no quiet revolution of seeing. If you enjoyed this journey into Jan van Eyck's world, don't forget to like the video, share it with fellow art lovers, and subscribe to Art Top 10 for more deep dives into the greatest masterpieces in history. Let us know in the comments. Which Jan van Eyck painting deserves its own full video? Until next time, keep looking closer, because art always rewards those who truly see.